Well, good afternoon. Thank you all for coming out this morning. As we all know, 13 years ago this morning, the world was shaken by the infamous attacks that bring us to this remembrance. Though this attack made clear our vulnerability to those who would plan to harm our people, we must also remember the heroism of those who responded to this crisis and the tremendous resolve of the American people in the face of this tragedy. I welcome all you who have joined us today to remember and appreciate this dire moment and the heroes that shone through in this dark time. I ask now that the fire science gear presenters come forward. And our criminal justice gear presenters, please come forward. And now would our criminal justice presenters please come forward.
Today we remember the 341 firefighters, 63 police officers, and 8 EMTs who made the ultimate sacrifice responding to the terrorist attacks upon the United States of America on September the 11th, 2001, as well as the innocent victims who perished during the attacks and all the soldiers who have since then fought for our freedoms overseas against terrorist groups in the Middle East. As a nation, we are forever indebted to them for their great personal sacrifice and dedication to protect the United States of America. It was because of these brave men and women who are prepared to do battle on our behalf that we were able to sleep peacefully at night and know that we are safe. As we remember all of the Americans who have made great sacrifices and displayed great selflessness for our nation, I feel we should keep in mind that for whom much is given, much is required. Again, thank you to all the first responders who lost their lives on 9/11 and to the soldiers who have fought for our freedoms after.
Today we remember the sacrifice of former TCD student Sean Cardelli. U.S. Marine Private First Class Sean Cardelli, age 20, was killed in Iraq on February 1st, 2006, when his post was attacked by a sniper and machine gun fire. He was awarded the Purple Heart and the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal. Sean attended TCD for 2 years in the culinary program, graduated from Mile High School in 2004, and went on to college to study culinary arts. His Lyle and TCD teachers described Sean as a very hard-working, focused student who understood the importance of teamwork. In 2005, he put his studies on hold to pursue a lifelong dream of becoming a U.S. Marine. He only served with his unit in Iraq 1 month before his death. His family said of him, he had the greatest smile and the strongest heart. We are so proud of him. Today, criminal justice puts flowers at the flagpole in honor of the public safety officials and civilians killed on 9/11, and for the memory of TCD alum Sean Cardelli.
If I could now have the fire EMT presenters step forward.
Today, we remember the nearly 3,000 men, women, and children lost in the attacks of September 11th, and we honor more than 2,000 first responders that sacrificed their lives, as well as thousands of our wounded warriors and the families of our fallen heroes. When the attacks of 9/11 occurred, all of my peers here today, including myself, were too young to truly understand what had happened that day. It is our duty to keep this day alive in everyone's memory, including generations to come, to show our respect to our fallen heroes. How we remember that day is a mark of our American spirit. We honor and remember those lost, but we also recognize on that day, a day that once held no special meaning to us, our country, and a generation of Americans were changed in an instant.
Today we remember the sacrifice of former TCD student Sam Watts. U.S. Army Specialist Samuel T. Watts, age 20, died May 19, 2012, of wounds he sustained from an IED blast while on patrol in Afghanistan. Among his many awards were the Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and Army Commendation Medal. Sam attended Wheaton North High School and enrolled in TCD's Fire Science program his junior and senior year. In 2009, he volunteered to participate in TCD's annual 9/11 ceremony, laying flowers at the flagpole. The attacks of September 11th inspired Sam at an early age to serve his country someday. After graduating in 2010, he put his firefighter career plans on hold and enlisted in the Army. After airborne training, he was deployed into Afghanistan in January 2012. His company commander said of him, "Sam was the guy you wanted to have on your team. He was a fighter." Sam's family describes him as a man who could be himself around anybody and loved the people around him. In his short time here, he lived a full life. Today, Fire Science puts flowers at the flagpole in honor of the firefighters and first responders killed on 9/11, and for the memory of Fire Science alum Samuel Watts.
This is a momentous day. It's a day that we should all remember. Many of us were obviously able to be a part of and think on that day, and we have to react. And many of you are quite a bit younger, probably 3 or 4 years old, and have different remembrances of how your families reacted or how your schools reacted. It's a time to think, and I'd like to take a moment of reflection, a moment of silence to contemplate how that moment is, or that day in time, as horrible as it was, has changed us, and hopefully we can think of ways that it's changed us for the better. Hopefully we're a safer, more thoughtful world. So let's hope we're moving in that direction. So let's take a moment of silence to contemplate how that impacted all of us. Again, thank you. Appreciate it. Those moments of silence, special days of recognition. Hopefully we don't just do them on those days. We think about what that, all of the things such as the Patriots Day and 9/11 recognition. Those are days that you should remember often, not just once a day. It should be in your heart once a day. And remember how those things impact each and every minute of our lives, because to do that would be achieving something, the sacrifice of our men and women who lost that day. I'd like to thank Chief Markowski and the men here from the fire department and Edison's Fire Department for joining us today and sharing this remembrance with us, as well as our representatives from the Edison Police Department who are willing to come out here and be a part of what is truly an important recognition for our students. So thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to close the ceremony and return back to the platform. Thank you.